Cohn from All 49ers on SI.com. Follow him at Grant Cohn. Covers all things 49ers related, and we appreciate you joining us today, Grant. What's going on, man? How are you?
Not much, man. What's going on with you guys?
Well, so the conversation we're having, I just want to bring you in. We're discussing, off of last night, what happened at the Coliseum, sporting events that moved you, that made you feel something. And I know that you have an encyclopedic knowledge of the 49ers. So I'm just curious, when you think about the 49ers moments throughout your life, what kind of stands out?
Well, I mean, something that was like last night was maybe the last game at Candlestick. It's still kind of sad that they don't play games there anymore because it was grimy, yeah, but it had so much history. And that final game where Navarro Bowman had the interception and brought it down for the pick six, it really felt like San Francisco was celebrating. It was really perfect. It was like the football gods orchestrated that for San Francisco. So that was kind of what last night felt like for Oakland. I mean, I'm from Oakland, and I'm so jaded on the A's because they're just a rancid organization. But it's nice to see a reverse boycott actually move people because it seems like Oakland's been trying the actual boycott for 20 years and it didn't work.
Grant, let me ask you this. It's so funny you went there, man, and I'm trying to be positive today, but yesterday was a moment. But, you know, as I get older and I walk to BART here from the station and I can see Chase Center, I can see Third and King where the Giants play, and you come out right out the gate with the stick. I mean, I got some Niner friends that, you know, won't even go to watch the Niners play at Levi's because there's not a stadium here. How often do you think of that? Because just as a football connoisseur, Grant, I get mad that downtown San Francisco doesn't have a venue for the Niners to be playing in.
Yeah, doesn't it feel like the Chase Center is where Levi's should be, and like the Yorks fumbled it, and the Lakers were like, "Oh, we'll just slide right in. Thank you very much." Right. You know, I mean, I know the Niners wanted tailgating, but screw tailgating. Like the whole downtown San Francisco is your tailgate. That's the best part, is to have a downtown stadium. Seattle has it. New Orleans has it. Niners could have had it. And what's crazy is, like, Santa Clara is not their home. When they play games there, it doesn't feel like their home. Their home is Candlestick. That's where the Cats happen. That's where all of their great memories happen. I bet you, in 30 years they'll be back. That's my prediction.
Put it in the cap, Evan.
Well, bring them back. Yeah. I mean, it is weird. And we got Grant Cohn on with us talking about the 49ers, covers them, all 49ers on SI.com. Please follow him at Grant Cohn. Speaking about San Francisco when they're playing in Santa Clara, and I'm curious what you think is, I guess, the theme of this upcoming season, because last year it was all over the place, obviously with the quarterback carousel, all of it, of course, due to injury, but they found some relevance in Mr. Irrelevant. What do you feel like the theme of this upcoming season in 2023 is going to be?
Isn't it the quarterback position still? It's the fact that it's year 7 of the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch regime, and they don't really have an answer. It's Brock Purdy if he's healthy, but if he's not, it's a competition between Sam Darnold and Trey Lance. I mean, that's amazing. The fact that Jimmy's gone, he was not good enough to win the Super Bowl, but he was a safety blanket. You knew he's good. You knew he could get you to the playoffs this year. I mean, if Brock comes back and plays like last year, you're good. But if that doesn't happen, this season could go left. So once again, you have these quarterback questions, and you're like wondering, what's the plan even? It seems like they've had 8 different plans, and it's like, first is Kyle's plan, then is John's plan. First it was, let's wait for Kirk Cousins. But that didn't work because they were 0-8. So then John said, let's trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. But that didn't work because they lost the Super Bowl. So then Kyle said, let's trade for Trey Lance. And then that didn't work, so now they're all in on Brock Purdy, but then they also brought in Sam Darnold. It seems like they keep going back and forth on what they want to do. Until they figure out a plan, they're not going to find a quarterback.
I mean, man, Grant, that was well said. Let me ask you this. Deebo Samuel for the last couple of years has been the 49ers offense. He held out. He got his money. He scrubbed his Instagram, his prerogative. And I marveled at what he could do in regard to the, jet sweeps and all that. But I'm watching young Brandon Aiyuk, who's a better natural receiver, Grant, than Deebo to me. And for Deebo to come out and say he had that bad year, okay, that's how you feel. I appreciate it. But, Grant, I felt like he was saying what we all are seeing is you got McCaffrey. Now if Purdy's back there, Kittle's getting his catches, and Ayuk's taking off. I don't know why just that rubbed me the wrong way because I felt like it wasn't pure. It was like you're saying what we're all seeing. Speak to us about Deebo and just how much he'll be a part of this offense moving forward.
Right, like you're saying the right thing. I was out of shape last year. I was distracted last year. I'm never going to let that happen again. But at the same time, you're not practicing at minicamp. You showed up, you went through the drills, but you sat out during team drills, during 11-on-11s and 7-on-7s. But Aiyuk didn't sit out. He's been in every drill for his entire career, which is maybe why he doesn't miss games. McCaffrey didn't sit out, and he's frankly a better player than Deebo. Kittle didn't sit out. So Deebo kind of holds himself above the rest of the players on offense, which is strange to me because he had one historic great year, but the rest of his career has been very inconsistent in terms of fitness and durability. And you look at Aiyuk, to your point, I mean, he's just a better wide receiver than Deebo. Better route runner, better at catching the ball. Deebo's the best in the league at running after the catch, but that's only 1/3 of the job. So, I mean, you can't even count on him to stay healthy either. So I'd like to see him sort of put his money where his mouth is.
Grant Cohn with us on 95.7 The Game, all 49ers on SI.com. Follow him at Grant Cohn. Going off of that, Grant, with Deebo and Aiyuk, there's not necessarily a division, but certainly a decision that the 49ers might have to make at the end of next season as it pertains to those two guys and who they might want to be a part of their future. Do you feel like that? I mean, is that something that's going to kind of hang over what either Deebo Samuel tries to do, what Brandon Aiyuk tries to do as allegedly the fourth option in a run-first offense? How much do you think that is going to affect their production this year and their performance on the field?
Well, if they're winning, I don't think you're going to hear public complaints. But if they start off slow again and Deebo isn't getting his touches or Aiyuk isn't getting his touches, I mean, talk about Aiyuk. He's in a contract year. If he is still the fourth option on the team and he's performing as well as he's been performing, he could get upset at some point. So there is a lot at stake. It seems to me that if you're going to go with Brock Purdy as your long-term quarterback, then you're really wasting Brandon Aiyuk. I look at Brandon Aiyuk as like Torrey Holt. You remember Torrey Holt from the 90s? Like, Torrey Holt was one of the most explosive downfield receivers in the league with Kurt Warner. But the Niners can't take advantage of that skill set in Aiyuk because they have quarterbacks with modest arms. So he's over there running routes like Wes Welker would run when he should be running routes that Torrey Holt runs. And until you get a quarterback that can actually swing the ball down the field like Lance was supposed to, he's wasted. So I feel like they're probably going to keep Deebo over Aiyuk when I would rather keep Aiyuk. He's younger. He's a better wide receiver. If you put Aiyuk on the Chiefs, if you put Aiyuk on the Bills, he'd have 1,500 yards a year. But I just don't think the Niners are ever going to take advantage of that. Meanwhile, Deebo can play running back. He fits right into what they want to do.
Grant, I got to keep it real with you. I got to be careful here because they'll put a stopwatch on how long my questions are. So I feel like we're having a beer. So I'm on your couch at your doctor's office.
Okay.
I understand the brilliance of Kyle. Those words have come out of my mouth. I know he can scheme guys open. I still blame him for the play calling in the fourth quarter against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I blame him for not throwing the flag on that first touchdown last year against the Eagles. The game would have changed. That's just me. But then I feel like he's in his own way of not having that ring. Can you share with us where you're at with Kyle Shanahan? Because I'm 50-50. I see the good, but people come down my road because I see the bad and feel like he's got to improve his situational game calling.
Yeah, it's like he can be the best game planner in the league. And you saw in that 12-game winning streak last year, it wasn't just talent that was taking the Niners to victory. It was his game planning. And I think when he loses is when he gets something he doesn't expect and they don't practice for and he can't adjust mid-game. I think him and his dad and his whole team put together a great game plan, but he doesn't look like the kind of guy who adjusts really well on the fly in a game the way the best coaches of all time have. And then I don't see how you can call him an offensive genius when you look at his track record with quarterbacks. I mean, they all get hurt really quick. None of them get better over time. He's had some success for short periods of time with certain quarterbacks, but he's never really developed one, and in year 7, he doesn't know who his quarterback is now. And that was really his dad's issue, too. His dad had Steve Young and John Elway. That's great. But once John Elway retired, his dad was on like a never-ending search for a quarterback, and he was just cycling through backups. That's kind of what Kyle's been doing, too. And it's amazing how far he can go with these, like, backup, quasi-starter quarterbacks. But eventually, man, Andy Reid isn't playing that game. Andy Reid has had real quarterbacks that he sticks with and keeps healthy for years, and Kyle's always playing the musical chairs game. And at a certain point, it's like, that's not real football, man. You got to pick one and keep him healthy and go from there.
Well, he's got 3 right now, and even if Brock Purdy's the leader in the clubhouse.
4. Brandon Allen.
That's right. Wow. He does have 4.
Man.
Thank you, Grant. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
As always, being able to break it down. And go check out the Cohn Zone on YouTube. Follow him at Grant Cohn, all 49ers on SI.com. That's Grant Cohn covering the 49ers here today. Thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. Have a good one.